Listen up, Team Apocalypse. We're almost live from the 420 bunker with Doc Dan and Mr. Farnsworth.
Hello. This is Doc Dan.
And Mr. Farnsworth.
We are your source for information,
Cooperation,
organization, and
participation.
there it is, thrown up on the screen. But for those of you who in Cowlitz County who can't read, we just said it for you. We've got a great show for you tonight, covering a wide range of topics from world events, local news, health topics, mental health, prepping techniques. And the big news is, drum roll please, Mrs. Farnsworth is live in studio tonight.
I'm looking at her right now.
Yes, so am I. She's looking good. You're looking good, Mrs. Farnsworth. What do you got to say for yourself? Love it. Let's start with some information right off the bat regarding climate change. The UN just released a report. They've done a 6-year study on climate change, and guess what they found?
Nothing.
You're getting warmer. It took them $7 billion of taxpayer money, and they came up with the planet is getting warmer.
How many times did Horseface fly around the planet to determine that?
You know, he's got his own Mrs. Farnsworth on that plane. So,
I suppose.
They're doing a thing there. He's got to fly around and destroy the world while telling everybody else to not do what he's doing.
So human beings are affecting the planet.
That's what
you're telling me.
That's what they're finding. And
okay.
I can go with that.
Okay.
I'll buy that. Obviously, we're affecting the planet somewhat.
No, absolutely. I mean, there's no denying
our hamburger fetish that we have with all the cow farts. You know.
I'm still not buying the flatulation, but okay.
Brazilian cow farts.
Brazil's a long ways away, Doc.
Well, if you walk the cow, that's a cattle drive right there. You know,
John Wayne would have been proud.
When they were driving them cattle from Texas to Montana, that was something.
Yeah, I can't imagine driving it from South America to
getting those cattle across the Panama Canal.
That's
the challenge. I have had I think you and I are pretty much in agreement on climate change. I was a climate change denier only because I don't trust the people who are giving us the information. It got too politicized.
Yeah, there's scientists with a conflict of
when your funding depends on there being an emergency.
Yeah,
that's a conflict of interest, because if science came along and said there's nothing to worry about, we're good, then guess what happens to their funding?
Yeah, it goes away. No need for it.
It dries up. So people, we need an emergency because we need to study this more. We need to do our UN 6-year study so we can tell you that all the news is bad and we're all going to die and we need more money more funding to stop this threat. However, I have come around as the data has poured in, and 99%, literally 99% of all scientific papers agree that climate change is real. It is a thing. Forests are burning, some from mismanagement, some from it's getting hotter in the summer. We're in a 100-year drought in the Midwest, so that stuff's it's getting real.
Well, how do we know that that stuff wasn't happening 75,000 years ago?
Well, I'm sure it was, because, as you know, our motto, Rotam Volvatur,
what goes around comes around.
the wheel turns.
Yep.
Yes. Climate was not always good. We were in a sweet spot, and now the sweet spot is disappearing. And so we're in trouble.
But again, I mean, it's obvious that human beings have, since the Industrial Revolution, we've certainly had an effect on our climate.
Oh, yeah.
There's no denying that.
Yes.
It's to what degree
Right.
are we having the effect?
A buddy of mine went to the Philippines to find a wife, and he succeeded.
Oh, good for him.
And he said what they do in the Philippines, because it's an island, they take all their garbage in all of the Philippines, which, Mr. Editor, throw up how many people live in the Philippines. I'm sure it's more than a couple million.
It's a bunch.
They take all their garbage in big dump trucks and dump it on the beach, and then the tide takes it away.
And it ends up on the west coast of America.
We're eating
No,
it,
that's part of that big whirlpool they got going on
Yeah.
in the middle of the
the
Pacific
garbage
Ocean.
patch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah. So how long can we continue to do that?
Now,
Come on,
see-
people.
see, and I think I told you the other day, Mr. Editor, verify this, but I don't think it's changed. But Victoria, BC, dumping their raw sewage
Mm.
in the Pacific Ocean. I
Yeah.
mean, I looked at it on a satellite, from a satellite view, and you could see the plume.
Oh yeah.
I mean, untreated raw sewage. So build a sewer plant or just build a pipeline out 5 miles. It's
Well,
cheaper to build a pipeline.
The good thing is they saved a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
So that's what counts.
Yeah, okay.
Somebody made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And
I wonder what kind of fish you catch around that.
brown trout, probably.
Maybe,
A lot
maybe.
of brown trout. Yeah.
Maybe. I wonder how many condoms are floating around out
Oof.
there.
Ouch. Don't. I was gonna eat after this, but
Not now.
anymore. Donald Trump's response to climate change is somewhat less than stellar. We'll throw some footage up there.
Well,
of that.
he's the other side. Deny.
Right.
I mean,
Well, his proof is, and this is, let's just show the clip. I mean,
So I think one area of mutual agreement and priority is vegetation management. But I think we want to work with you to really recognize the changing climate and what it means to our forests, and actually work together with that science. That science is going to be key, because if we ignore that science and sort of put our head in the sand and think it's all about vegetation management, we're not going to succeed together protecting Californians.
Okay, it'll start getting cooler. You just watch.
I wish science agreed with you.
Hey, well, I don't think science knows, actually.
it's funny, but it's not funny at the same time. And then on the other side, you've got Al Gore with his rain bombs, and the oceans are boiling, and 20-foot sea rise, which should have taken place in 2015. So
yeah, I think Al Gore's predictions in the past have not been very
would be
good.
below you. We're still putting 162 million tons into it every single day. And the accumulated amount is now trapping as much extra heat as would be released by 600,000 Hiroshima-class atomic bombs exploding every single day on the Earth. That's what's boiling the oceans, creating these atmospheric rivers and the rain bombs, and sucking the moisture out of the land, and creating the droughts, and melting the ice, and raising the sea level, and causing these waves of climate refugees predicted to reach 1 billion in this century. Look at
He took the worst climate models and said these were normal. Donald Trump has taken the best climate models and said, we're going to be even better than that because I'm positive about it.
Of course.
Very positive. He's very positive.
Very positive.
That the earth is just going to start cooling all on its own.
Yeah.
All right. So our view both is pretty much the same, that yes, there is climate change. Yes, we should be doing something about it. However, with China building one coal plant every single day.
Every week.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
One a
yes,
week.
Every week. Thank you for that correction.
One a week.
India, Africa, Pakistan, all these developing nations aren't following any protocols whatsoever. They need cheap energy, which is coal.
Coal. And
They
they don't invest in the scrubbers. They don't have
No.
the same kind of regulations we have.
They're burning it like we did in the 1800s.
So bottom line is we freeze to death or spend a gazillion dollars cleaning it up while they do nothing and stay warm.
Right. Well, and you know, we can afford it more than they can.
Agreed.
To be honest, if,
Agreed.
If they were to limit every American family to one car, we'd survive. But if they were to tell Africa or China or India, hey, you guys need to cut back 50%, a lot of people would die.
Yeah.
So that's why I think we're on the road to one more missile of the apocalypse, as a certain book has warned us about, that our standard of living is going to fall precipitously because of climate change. It's just one more missile in our apocalyptic overview.
It's certainly a potential to be there, no doubt about it.
So what should you do out there in Team Apocalypse land? What can we do? We can recycle. We can not drive if we don't have to. We can bike to work. We can do our, I'm not saying don't do anything because we're all going to die. We should be being responsible.
No, but once again, we just try to be good stewards to our planet.
Yes.
So, you know, and if everybody pitches in and does the little things, they all add up.
And here's my outlook. Because we're not willing to do this voluntarily, we're going to end up doing it under coercion by Big Brother.
Sure.
And they're going to say, hey, we gave you, 20, 30 years to do this. You know what my big beef is? And here's the volunteer versus coercion. So every day I pass Coweeman Middle School and Kelso High School and Butler Acres Elementary School, and I'm pretty sure that they're being taught that global warming is a thing, that climate change is dangerous, it's destroying the planet, everybody needs to pitch in. I'm pretty sure they're getting that message.
That to the point of possibly being terrorized.
Okay, yes.
I mean, not just taught.
And yet, every day I drive by those, there's a traffic jam.
Yeah.
There is parents dropping kids off to school when they could be walking or riding a bike.
Or riding or the bus that's being provided.
If I were in the Kelso School District and I were a dictator and I was really worried about climate change, the first thing I would do is turn our parking lot into a forest. You do not drive to this school. You ride the bus that's going by your house already.
Yes, it's already going there.
If you're a teacher, you bike, you be an example, you carpool, but we don't have a parking lot. So I don't know how y'all going to get here, but it ain't going to be by car.
Yeah, let's think about it. You got the big yellow banana, and it costs the exact same amount of money, whether it's got 5 kids on it,
right,
or 60 kids on it.
So that's my beef. If you're going to teach the kids, be an example. There should not be a traffic jam outside of Butler Acres.
No.
Every day.
No.
Cars just sitting there idling.
Yes.
as the little kids' mushy little heads are being filled with climate change is going to kill us all, and we need to cut down on our driving. And then mom picks you up every day to drive you a mile.
Yes, because I can't walk.
It drives me nuts.
It's too far.
Either climate change is a thing and we need to start making sacrifices, or it's not, and we can just continue to live however it is we want to live. But you can't do both.
Exactly.
We
Well,
need
another thing.
sex-powered energy.
There you go.
If Mrs. Farnsworth could just transfer her sexiness into an automobile, it would run for 10,000 miles.
Absolutely. It would be what do they call it? A perpetual motion machine.
There you go. The motion of the ocean.
Well, the other thing it's coming out too, sometime in the near distant future, is hydrogen.
Yep.
And that will be the cat's meow.
Yep.
I mean, if we can, there's obviously plenty of hydrogen available to us.
Right.
We just need to figure out a way to get it out of the water.
Yep, there you go.
And the byproduct or the waste is what? Oxygen,
Water.
and water. So, I mean, let's go to conspiracy theory. Is that technology already out there?
Oh, I think it's been out there for a while.
Has
now.
the petroleum industry squashed that technology?
It's too
Doc?
easy. It's too good, and it's too cheap.
Yeah.
We can't have
but
this.
but think about this too. I'm not standing up for the petroleum industry by any stretch, but if tomorrow hydrogen would become a thing, what would that do to our economy?
Oh yeah, we would all be out of a job.
Yeah, it would. So something would have to transition.
But you know what? Okay, let's start.
Oh, exactly. And
Let's start.
And if I was,
We don't need to just dump it all at one time.
if I was in the boardroom of British Petroleum, I would be saying, listen, guys, this new energy is just going to be a part of life. We don't have to be strictly petroleum. We can be other things, which I think eventually, and they probably already are doing that. But again, conspiracy.
My feeling about capitalism is that it's run amok. I'm not against capitalism. I was born and raised in the system. It's not the system that's bad. It's the people running the capitalist system. And let's take this for example. I was watching a thing on AI. We're getting off a little bit, but we'll finish up with this about capitalism, about hydrogen, about why we're facing climate change and nobody seems to be doing anything about it. And it's about money and it's about control. If you were to take the thing they're worried about AI is to say, let's program an AI program to make nothing but paper clips in our company. And we're going to program it so your job is to make as many paper clips, Mr. AI, as possible for as cheaply as possible. And that's point. And that's your program. Well, that's too open-ended.
Yeah.
Because now the thing's going to do nothing but
No
make paper
considerations
clips. And when it runs out of material, it's going to figure out how to tear down the building next door.
Yeah.
Oh, and now people are trying to stop me from making paper clips. Well, now I got to figure out how to stop those people who are trying to stop me because I'm tearing down that building and we're going to continue making paper clips. And pretty soon it doesn't stop until the entire world is destroyed. But we've got a shit ton of paper clips. It did a great job. This is the exact thing I think where we're at with capitalism. Capitalism is make money. Make as much money for the shareholders as possible. Oh, is that our paradigm? Is that our program? Yes, it is. Okay, then we're going to pollute. We're going to tear things down. We're going to destroy people. We're going to destroy the planet. But man,
well, you got to get it when the
following
getting's
that
good.
program. We are making money, and people don't have the character to say, maybe we need to back off of the money thing.
Well,
do what's good for the most amount of people.
Yeah,
In other news, presidential debate coming up.
Yeah, can't wait.
By the time this is released, it'll probably be over. So,
I can't
81-year-old Joe Biden versus 81-year-old Orange Man Bad. Does anyone think these two guys may be a little too old for the job?
Yeah, they were too old last election.
The the average age of a U.S. president on the day of their first inauguration. What do you think that is?
Well, I'm gonna say 65.
That would be a good guess. I would say 60 something. You're wrong. It's 55 years old.
Wow.
I Googled that, so it's got to be right.
Oh, of
55
course.
years old is the average age of a U.S. president on the day of their first inauguration. And we got these two 81-year-old, I'm going to just, for lack of a better term, gentlemen, battling it out. Are these guys the cream of our collective?
Is it the best we have?
crop?
Is it as the best we have to offer? The rest of the world's laughing.
They've got to be.
I mean,
Well, they're
come
laughing
on.
and they're cringing.
Well, yeah, because of the power those two
Yes.
idiots are. No, I didn't say that. The power those two gentlemen have.
Yep.
So, how old was Clinton? Because
I
I'm
don't
trying
know.
to think about the age of presidents in our
Mr. Editor,
lifetime.
throw that up. He was 50 something.
Okay, so he was relatively young, but Reagan was old.
Reagan was old. Obama was 50 something.
Okay, Obama was young.
Yep. So there you go.
Well, yeah, and Ford Carter was young.
Yep, he was. All right. So that's our world news. Let's go and throw this up here, Mr. Farnsworth. Some local news. And you just emailed me
I
this the other day. We've gone on to the macro news. Now we're going to talk about the micro news. Well, this is not micro. It's micro in the terms of it's only going to affect maybe Washington and Oregon and everybody who's in the ash plume.
Hopefully, that's all it's going to affect.
Right.
I don't want to be cleaning gutters again like I did last time.
You made a lot of money on that, though,
Oh, my God. I cleaned gutters for years.
St. Helens is rumbling again. Mount St. Helens in what town would you say is most closest? Tootle?
Well,
Tootle, Washington?
is Tootle even considered a town?
It won't be if Mount St. Helens
Castle Rock
erupts again. Yes, Castle Rock.
I mean, it's exciting news. If you read through the article, they've had a few of these spikes before, but it
Yes.
certainly piques the interest of these scientists because
yeah, go ahead.
they're getting pretty excited about it.
The magma chambers are reloading.
Even after they pay me the money, I'm still going to melt every city on the planet with liquid hot magma. With liquid hot magma. Liquid hot magma. Magma. With liquid hot magma.
Yes.
Earthquakes, micro earthquakes. We'll put the information up there on the screen so you can view the article for yourself. Just another missile that we have to deal with on a daily basis.
And it might not just be a Pacific Northwest missile. It could
No.
be
What do they call that? The Pacific Ring of Fire.
exactly.
That goes from Alaska down to Southern California
Yes, it on all the way around
and to Japan and
yeah.
Good news. So with all this bad news we're sharing, how do you think we should deal with the stress and anxiety? I just talked to somebody who said, I want to read your book. I want to go to your team meetings. I just feel like I can't prepare enough and I feel inundated.
Yeah, I don't want to. I'm getting too stressed.
No matter how much I prepare, it's never going to be enough. We've got the rice and beans. We've got, they actually have a backup generator for their water, which is a great idea.
Oh, absolutely.
But the lady was just saying, look, there's just so much we can do. And then I just feel like overwhelmed. So we've got here, I think it's seven ways to deal with the anxiety and stress of the news cycle. Number 1, turn off the world news.
Or maybe minimize.
There's
Yeah.
also sites where you can just get the headlines.
Right. Yeah,
This. It's no political, I think this or I think that or so-and-so sucks or other guy said something really stupid.
Yeah, it's less editorializing and more actual news.
Yes. And ask yourself this: if you turned off the world news completely, how would it change your life? Probably. Okay, you didn't know about an earthquake in China. You think your life would go on okay?
Well, I might even feel a little better.
It might be better. You really don't. It's not necessary that you hear it. Would it change the way you vote if you didn't watch MSNBC for 4 hours every day?
No.
No, because you're going to vote that way anyway. If you turned off
Yes.
Fox News until the election, would you automatically vote liberal?
Yeah.
Probably not.
When I turn on the news and see in the first hour they play the same clip time after time about how many arrest warrants and guilty verdicts they've got on
Right,
Trump, that's
right.
not going to change my vote.
No. And it might actually go the other way because now he's a martyr.
Oh, of course.
Who's being seen as being persecuted. So it's funny that it was who was the comedian, bald guy, Bill Burr, and he was talking to Bill Maher, and he was saying, "You guys, you're making a mistake, and you won't quit doing it. You should just shut up about Trump. He thrives on
he
all
does.
of this.
Yeah, he gets off on this.
He thrives on it. It's great publicity, but here's the thing: where would CNN's ratings be without Donald Trump?
Oh, they would have gone
Worse
under.
than they already are now.
Oh, they would have gone under.
He's their moneymaker.
He saved their
Where would the
bacon.
Democratic Party be without Donald Trump? They should be sending him thank you notes.
Absolutely.
He's the boogeyman. He is the ultimate. If they were, having to deal with DeSantis or one of the other candidates, you just got to almost try to find things wrong with him. With Trump, it's something new every day.
Yeah, with Trump and his antics, it's you never know what you're going to get.
He's a moneymaker. They better hope he doesn't die because their ratings are just going to tank.
Yep.
So turn off the world news. 2, get involved locally. Instead of wringing your hands about all this national thing that's going on that you really have no control over, get involved locally where you do have a measure of control. Go to a town hall meeting. Go meet the candidates who are running locally.
Exactly.
Get involved.
Yeah.
Coach a baseball team.
Volunteer and actually contribute where you can really make a change.
Go to a school board meeting. Get involved in kids' lives. All right. Number 3, go outside. Get in touch with nature. Get in touch with your neighbors. Get in touch with your inner self. Did you know that the earth has a magnetic property? And if you would walk out into the yard, and Mr. Editor, throw up a link to this information. You will literally be grounded by the earth's magnetic field.
You get zen.
If you let your skin touch the actual earth. Take off your shoes, hug a tree, go out gardening and get your hands dirty. If your actual skin is touching the earth, it is literally, they are finding scientifically that it is literally grounds you.
Well, and I think you can get some vitamin D while you're out there as well,
Vitamin
which is
D is
critical.
a thing.
I think that was a big deal with COVID. They were finding lots and lots of people were vitamin D deficient.
Oh yeah.
Probably because they're sitting around reading the national.
Yep, sitting there cringing at the national news. That's not a joke. There are many people, and I know personally a lot of people who were literally scarred mentally, like not going out of the house, not socializing.
Yeah.
It just changed them because they were just glued to that news cycle. It's like, it's okay. We're all going to die of something sometime. It's all right. And the one thing we really don't want to face is if we died, yes, our family would be sad, but the world probably really wouldn't notice.
Well, they
So,
would notice me. They may not notice you, but
I don't
I would be
know about
missed.
that.
No, but you're right.
We
I
take
mean,
our lives way too seriously.
yeah, people tend to dwell on it way too much, which in turn makes you miserable,
Yeah.
makes you depressed. It's a vicious cycle. What do you call that thing again? It goes round and
The
round.
rotom vulvatur. The wheel turns.
The cycle of depression.
The wheel turns. No, that's more like a whirlpool. Number 4, take care of yourself physically and mentally. Mental health is a thing. I know we're all kind of dwelling on it. We don't spend enough money on it in the government. Take care of it.
Do you think that maybe some of this mental health stuff is self-induced?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I look at, my grandparents were of the World War II era.
Mhm.
My grandfather was in the Navy, World War II, and those people, I mean, those folks had it rough.
Yes, they did.
So, did they suffer,
I think
or did they suck it up?
their expectations were a lot lower than ours, and I think that's a huge part of mental health.
I agree.
Their expectation was, "Wow, I survived today.
And
I'm good."
maybe they weren't so much into the instant gratification.
Nope. They knew how to wait for things. They knew about the cycles of the planets and the stars more than we do. We think they were idiots. That's our problem. We think everybody who's,
Older.
came older than us are idiots.
Yeah.
Like the ancient Egyptians. Oh, idiots. They were idiots.
The Mayans.
They didn't have cars.
Yeah.
No, they just built the pyramids and we don't know how they did it.
Yeah.
That's just how stupid they were. But like the generations like George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, oh, they were slaveholders, they were idiots. No, they knew more about nature. Your average 12-year-old child knew more about the circuits of the stars and nature and what different leaves were and healing plants were.
Yep.
We don't know any of that because we can Google it, so we don't need to know. They knew a lot more than we did. So take care of yourself mentally, physically. Take care of yourself. They're finding that your physical body has a lot to do with your mental health. They're one and the same. They're tied together. Everything is tied together. You cannot eat junk food and top ramen and have good mental health. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Number 5 is, we've already talked about this a little bit, but realize that death isn't as big a deal as they're making it sound. You have a life energy. That life energy, science will tell you that energy never disappears. It's just that your life energy goes somewhere else that we don't know where that is. Some people have faith that there's a place where we all gather. Other people are saying, well, you just become a toad, or you go into a higher state of being, or you go to a different dimension. We have all kinds of good ideas.
Yeah, I mean,
But death isn't the end.
There are a lot of different beliefs. Obviously, people, you're right. Energy, it's gonna be there, but is your conscience,
Right.
is that gonna change?
I think that's what we're afraid to lose.
Exactly.
Is the consciousness.
When in reality, if you've made a good impact in life, your memories, the people who remember you will carry your name.
I always figure I'm going to be dead. I don't care anymore. I don't care. What kind of a legacy did you leave behind? I don't care. I'm dead.
Yeah.
Okay. I left no legacy.
Yeah.
I died and now I don't care.
Point taken.
Number 6, become involved with team building. Now we're going to do a plug for Team Apocalypse. But if you're being social, you're building a team around you with the same goals, the same outlook.
A little networking.
They're all holding you accountable for becoming better. They're all not judging you, but they're cheering for you. You've got a cheerleading squad around you. You're going to feel better about all this.
Yeah, you got a little encouragement.
Yeah, we had some bad news today, but guess what? We had a team meeting and we had some fun, and we did some positive things for our community. and had a good time. And I had to skip the news to do it, so I felt even better.
Well, you get this, we're all in this together feeling.
Yep. Build that team, folks. And lastly, is you can do that in Cowlitz County by attending a Team Apocalypse meeting, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But we're going to take a break right now, and then we'll come back with some prepping topics, some news about a book signing event, which is going to be hosted by myself, Mr. and Mrs. Farnsworth. You're going to be there, aren't you, Mrs. Farnsworth?
Yeah. She says she's only coming if Chip stay home.
Chip's going to be right behind you. Sorry. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Prepping topic of the day. We are taking care of business. What is the most important thing in an emergency? Well, first is shelter. If you don't have shelter, you can die within, well, it depends on how cold it is.
Well, bums. There's a lot of people in Portland that.
Did you just use the word bums?
Bums.
Wow. I haven't heard that in a while.
Didn't you used to ride around and heat up quarters and toss them out the window on
Yeah.
Burnside?
Yes, we did. We threw one off the Burnside Bridge to see if he'd jump after it.
Yeah. No, but you're right. Shelter, critical.
Shelter number one. And if it's 60 degrees, you can still die from exposure. But 3 hours you have to find shelter. 3 days
Water.
you're going to need water before you start assuming room temperature. Now, in a shit hits the fan situation, I'm going to assume that you have the shelter taken care of, that you presently live in a home.
Yeah, you're not homeless at the point
Right.
of time when shit hits the fan.
Yes. So we've got shelter taken care of. Our next most important item we need is water. If the
Yes.
electricity is off to your city because of a terrorist attack or an EMP blast or whatever reason,
Or just a shitty grid go down.
grid goes down, you're not going to have water because water takes pumps to get to your house or to be pumped up a hill or up to a water tower. And then the water flows down by gravity. And then when that gravity water is run out, there's no more pump to pump more water up into the tower. So
Then it's Mother Nature.
you got 3 days.
Yeah.
Unless you were listening to the Team Apocalypse, Doc Dan and Mr. Farnsworth show, and you were ready with maybe some 55-gallon barrels of water, and you have your Life straw, and you have your Berkey filters or whatever you have.
And I did a little research just real quickly on
You did research?
a little bit.
Nice.
I didn't want to step on the our youngster sip our our interns' toes.
Okay.
I didn't want to
All
step,
right.
but yes, I'd nosed around on the internet, and Life straws used to be very expensive.
Uh-huh.
Now you can get a pack of 5 for about $100.
That's really good because
And
how
that-
many gallons is that going to get you?
1,000 gallons per straw.
Per straw, and that's drinking out of the toilet water. You can drink it, and when it comes
Anything-
out the other end of that straw, it's pure water.
Anything you want. Now, there's actually other brands out there that are about half that price, and they got good ratings. I don't
Okay.
know anything about them. I personally have a bunch of Life straws,
Okay.
and I've had them for a while, but the products out there are getting less expensive. So for people not to have that as a backup, shame on you.
You were saying there's even a desalination filters out there. So if you lived on the ocean, you could literally walk to the beach, throw in some salt water, and out of the other end comes pure drinking water.
Absolutely. And they're reasonably priced considering what you're getting
Right.
for that. It's like you're looking in the $300 to $500 price range.
Makes me want to move to the ocean. because There's a lot of water in the ocean. I don't know if you knew that or not. but-
Yeah, I think everybody in North America could drink out of the Pacific Ocean, and half of us do anyway,
Well, and
or part of California
the thing
does.
is an hour later you're refilling the Pacific Ocean with
True.
Well,
true.
another kind of stream altogether.
And the life straw will make
We'll
that
take care of that.
okay.
Nice. So we're going to leave some links up at the end of the show about how you can get water. We suggest you have a lot of water.
What did you say? A gallon?
1 gallon per day per person, and that's for drinking only.
So that's not hygiene.
Nope. I suggest if you're going to have bottled water and you keep that around the house, that you don't drink it unless you're, dying of thirst. But you use that for your hand washing, for your bathing, for cooking, things like that.
Well, I'll
So
tell you
water,
another-
it's important. You've got 3 days to find fresh drinking water. In an emergency, you can get water out of your water heater,
Yep.
out of the top tank of your toilet.
If you have any kind of warning of an emergency, fill your bathtubs
Yeah, there you go.
and any other large containers,
Yes.
kitchen pots, pans,
Get that
ice
water
chests.
before your neighbors do.
Get all the water
Then you
can.
can charge them when they need to come over for water.
Yeah.
That's capitalism for you. I don't suggest doing that. I suggest being a good person and sharing with your neighbors, because you're going to need to hoard people and get help wherever you can find it.
And let's not forget, if you're a good prepper, like we encourage folks to be, a lot of the foods are going to be eaten require water.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, look.
I just seen some pictures of Doc Dan at the beach.
You don't want to see those.
Oh.
Let's get those off of there. All right, next topic.
right.
But we have a Team Apocalypse event, as the little reader board says there. Looks like we've got a book signing coming up July 12th, Longview Moose Lodge, 7 to 11, and that's p.m., not a.m., Mrs. Crocker.
You're going to get your ass kicked.
There's going to be prize giveaways, Steve Largent jersey, signed Steve Largent jersey.
We're not auctioning off Steve Largent.
Not Steve Largent per se. No.
No, his
Steve
jersey.
is still alive.
Yes, he
but
is.
It's his jersey, not him. We're going to have music, beverages, karaoke, possibly some book signing at the book signing.
You can get your picture taken with Mrs.
Farnsworth.
Farnsworth.
Yes, and Mr. Farnsworth's going to be there as well. And over Mr. Farnsworth's objections, Chip will be there, ladies.
Fucking
Chip, fear not, ladies. Chip is going to be there.
Chip.
So yeah, we're gonna have a fun time. We're gonna have more of
good.
these. We're gonna have a lot of these events coming up to show you that, hey, preppers aren't just a bunch of stick in the mud. We're gonna move to Idaho and live in a plywood shack or a refrigerator box.
Well, if we do that, we'll have lots of guns.
I spent all my money on
dynamite
ammunition
and shit to blow up.
Yeah, we've just now got onto a list because of those keywords that AI
You
just
blow
picked up,
shit up.
and now
What do
we're
you-
on a government
What do you
list.
do for fun?
Thank you.
I blow shit up.
Blow up mailboxes.
No, that's a federal crime. You
There
took that.
We're
will
already
get you,
on the register.
That
thanks to
will
you.
get you on the list. Blowing shit up is not illegal. Tannerite is not illegal
Okay. All right. Yet.
yet.
That's the key word.
Give them time.
So book signing, 13 Missiles of the Apocalypse book. You need it. You want it.
It's a must-have.
13 ways our civilization could come crumbling down, and you probably should at least get a little bit prepared for that.
You know, Christmas is coming up. There you go.
And people's birthdays.
Oh yeah.
I would ask that everyone just buy at least 100 copies, because you never know.
I know.
When you'd want
Pass
to
them
just
out, man.
Pass one out. Pass those things out like candy.
Pass them out to your neighbors.
There you go.
Network.
That's what we're talking about.
That's
Team
right.
building.
That's right. Team
You
build
need to
network.
start networking. Nothing will do it like this book. The first half is a disaster movie. The second half is what should you do about it? And it's not panic. That's not what we're talking about.
And it's not how to just survive. It's how to be comfortable.
How to thrive.
Yeah, how to be one of the guys where everybody goes, holy shit.
Right. What are we hoarding? We are hoarding people.
We're hoarding people and we're hoarding success.
There you go. Before the book signing, We're having Team Apocalypse meetings on Wednesdays for now. Brook Hollow Estates Clubhouse. Google it, 2500 Allen Street. It's the easiest thing in the world to find. You may not know where it is now, but once you get there, you go, oh,
It's just out past the high school.
you go down Allen Street, you go past the high school, you see Brook Hollow, you take that sign, and then you hang a left, and boom, you're there.
And that's going to be a really nice place. for
Big,
us to
nice
meet from now on.
clubhouse, television set. There's the
Yeah.
ability to have food there if you want it. We might have some potluck meetings there at some point. Not yet, but
We can do what we want there.
We're
We're
working on
not constantly battling with the
Right.
restaurants.
there'll be no waitress asking us if everything's okay. So there you go. Last but not least, we want to give you all some homework to do. We've talked about climate change. What kind of homework can we do regarding climate change? Well, you can do your part. You can recycle. You can treat the world a little better.
Yeah, be responsible.
Drive less. You know, don't schedule any unnecessary flights with what's his name on his world tour.
Horseface.
Telling people John Kerry. I think
Oh, that's his
I think
name.
is the gentleman's name. I think
I'm
it's
sorry.
John Kerry.
Am I being disrespectful?
AKA
Horseface.
There you go.
He does look like a horse.
You don't like him.
No, I do
I
not.
get the feeling that you don't.
No,
like.
I
Is it
do
because
not.
of his rampant hypocrisy?
That's a big part of it.
All right. We've talked about 7 ways to deal with a depressing news cycle. Turn off the news, get outside, get involved with team building.
Yep.
Hey, schedule some of that as your homework this week.
Yeah, make some time with your family.
Yeah.
Go out,
Oh,
walk
no.
the dog.
What are
Walk
you
the-
talking about?
Walk your poor dog. Your poor dog's been locked up.
Layla's, she
Yeah.
needs a walk.
Get
I'm
out
gonna
and
go
walk the
walk her right
dog.
after this. And we talked about water storage and filtration. You really, really, really need to do this homework. Look into what, at the very least, buy some bottled water, a case or two of bottled water, not planning to drink it, but to use it for maybe hand washing and bathing. And look into getting a life straw or 2 or 3, and look into water filtration systems, because water is, you need to get that box checked.
Yes.
If I'm
Yes.
prepping and I'm saying, what box do I need to check first? It's water.
Yeah, and for
water
me,
storage.
I went out and got a generator. I live on a well, so I have a generator. So at least short term, it's not a long term solution
Right.
by any
But
stretch.
you can fill up the bathtub, fill up your barrels.
Right. Long term solution would be to figure out how to put some type of hand pump or
right.
or convert it to a windmill or something like that.
Right.
But short term, I bought a generator.
Yeah, there you go. We talked about team meetings, the book signing. That's good homework. July 12th at the Longview Moose Lodge, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Get to our book signing. We want to see you. Mrs. Farnsworth wants to see you.
You'll want to see Mrs. Farnsworth.
Yes, you will.
Oh.
And Team Apocalypse meetings every other Wednesday, and that's starting. What's the date going to be? Throw it up there, Mr. Editor. Throw it up
I think
there.
the 26th. Is that right?
Mr. Editor will tell us.
I think it's the 26th, but okay.
We'll just say the 26th, and then we'll be either proven right or proven wrong.
Yeah, it's next It's
But we don't know when this is going to come out. Because
you're true.
Mr.
True.
Editor has
You're
his
true.
say about what we say, because we
I-
spew out so much BS and so many,
Yeah.
so much information that may be information or may not be valid information. So the editor has to really, he's got his job cut out for him. I feel sorry for him.
He's got the final say.
Yes, he or she does.
The stroke.
Whew.
Stroke.
Love it. So Team Apocalypse meetings, get there. We want to see you there. By the way, we'll be selling my book at Team Apocalypse meetings as well. And probably any merch that's left over. Hats, t-shirts, those are coming. They're on their way. That's all I've got, Mr. Farnsworth. You
I
got
think we're good to
anything
go.
else? All right. Keep prepping, folks. Remember, we're not trying to scare you. We're trying to prepare you. Have a good week. We'll see you next time around. Bye-bye.
Take care.